most welcome to the Kokoliriko live edition for the Thursday edition, which is actually one of the days which is also really taking us towards the end of the week, because the Kokoliriko live show is one that really runs from Mondays to Fridays, and Thursday is actually the second last day of the week. And really, we hope you had a wonderful night. This is maybe to the football fans, because yesterday at least maybe we did see some people, others were crying while others were jubilating. And really, it is actually teams that lost who are jubilating, because these had a number of rivalries, and really we could see the teams, more so those that maybe come from the English Premier League. We did see them actually also really bowing out of the competitions after being knocked out there. And Manchester City, which was actually a team that also did play yesterday against Real Madrid, was knocked out of, that is, the penalties after a 1-1 draw also against Real Madrid there. But Arsenal was actually also beaten in another game, which we did also see happening last night. And these games, I must say, attracted a number of crowds, and this is because so many people didn't want these teams to progress. And whom am I meaning? And these are the teams that really are also rivals, and maybe Liverpool, we also do have Chelsea and Manchester United. All these teams didn't want these two teams to progress through to the next rounds, and exactly maybe what happened is according to their wishes. But really, this is football, and nonetheless, you're most welcome. We hope you had a wonderful night. Please do not also really commit suicide over football there, but more details, analysis of that will be coming through later on. That is the Wishu time from 2 to 3 p.m. Owen Ezaga together with Linda Susie will be in the house to give you more details into that. I really want to now ask you, as we start off the discussions, please stay tuned as we begin off your day with the Kokoliriko live show, which starts from the hour of 7 until the hour of 9 a.m. And at 9 a.m. exactly, that's when we shall be having the news bulletin in Lubaratiwi, that is Mukulia Lawrence. But before we get to that, let's first see maybe what is happening elsewhere around the country. And today we want to begin the discussions with what is happening nationally. And really the biggest story that is happening right now is the ongoing strike that is by the traders across the country. And the business owners really are also claiming that the taxes really levied against them are very, very much higher. And they're also really putting their fight against URA's electronic physical receipting system, which is common known as the IFRIS, which is also really there to also maybe enable them to also really file their returns, and also really other businesses and taxes here and there, which according to them is very, very unfair. And these people have also often raised concerns about also how this issue is implemented. And really today we are now also seeing that maybe on the papers this morning, President Museveni is actually set to meet the striking traders. And this is after Parliament also yesterday asked the House to draw means to also really finding solutions to these concerns raised by the traders. Because of yesterday, at least, we were able to see a number of shops in Kampala being closed, and we're also being told that these strikes are now spreading to the other parts of the country, where we did see these strikes also really moving into Masaka. And this is also really something I must also really remind you of. We did also see it moving to Jinja, Mbale, and other areas. Are we also going to be seeing this moving to Arua City? Definitely, this is also really something that we shall be following and letting you know of when the right time comes, if at all. Maybe the strike also moved to this side, but I must remind you, the impacts of this strike definitely is already felt on Arua City, because our traders here get most of their products from, that is Kampala, which is actually the main capital city. And this is actually where we're also really seeing a number of people who actually move from the neighboring parts of also really the country, that is in DRC, in South Sudan, also really who have been coming for trade are not coming, because really as of yesterday at least we did see a number of business people that's from Arua City also really feeling the pinch, because they were not able to also really make their orders and purchases, because the traders in Kampala are striking. And really, when will this strike come to an end? That is something also really we are yet following up on, and we want to see maybe how it will be able to take its course, because we want to find out how exactly this will be going on. And President Museveni is reportedly set to meet the traders, and these are the leaders of these traders on Friday, which is tomorrow, to explore ways of resolving their grievances, as the strike which began in Kampala a week ago has spread also like bushfire across the country. And businesses in Kampala closed shops, and shop proprietors, arcade owners had locked them out following a rallying call by, that is, Kampala City Traders Association, which is the umbrella body that brings together these traders, and the Federation of Uganda Traders Association, which have also really been able to also really maybe help, also maybe call the traders to continue with this strike, and say to them that we are working half day, because in some places we have seen the traders working half day up to midday, and somebody leaves home. And what does this mean maybe for other businesses across the country? Definitely I must tell tell you why maybe the strikes could be able to spread across the country is because we definitely, whether we like it or not, both directly and indirectly, the impact of this will be able to sort of be felt. That is across by everybody, and that is what exactly could be happening elsewhere. And really, I want to remind you, maybe on this ongoing trade, on this strike, on the ongoing trade, sorry, by the traders, definitely this may also really have its negative repercussions on what is happening elsewhere. And Kasita, which originally has a number of grouping of traders in the capital, was registered in 2019 with the county-wide membership and outlook given seeing in there, and its chairman, that is Dr. Tadeos Nagenda, told journalists the State House, which we are unable to by press time to reach for confirmation, asked them to undertake COVID tests today ahead of also the expected talks with President Museveni, and that is also something that they are saying they want to meet the president for their demands. And in a petition to Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, Kasita outlined a dozen of complaints, including the ongoing enforcement by the Uganda Revenue Authority to onboard, that is the traders, also on its digital invoicing and receipting tax system, commonly known as the IFRIS, and URA spokesperson, that is Ibrahim Bossa, did not receive or return any phone calls made to him there, and this means that the efforts to get comments from him about this matter were futile. And countrywide surveys by journalists shows that the traders in regional cities such as Fort Portal, Mbarara, Mbale, for various reasons, shunned that civil disobedience that is also ready to go on with the strike in the Masaka. Mr. Ali Pio Mukasa, a representative of Chikubo Traders, that is to Masaka City Traders Association, has said they last week staged the strike following assurance by Mr. Ahmad Katerega, a deputy resident city commissioner in there. This is something also we are seeing, and Masita publicist Joaquim Kizito, however, said they promised government intervention never happened. That is prompting them to resume with the strike. And in Mukono, all major businesses ranging from supermarkets, pharmacies, and retail shops also really did go on to close. And Mr. John Musisi, a hardware dealer, said the businesses have been suffocated with the introduction of the IFRIS, which does not necessarily cater for all other losses and challenges faced by business owners in their day-to-day challenges. Also, really, that's something also really we are saying. And elsewhere, butchery is open, but it was intended for owners to remove meat from refrigerators. That is also really something we did see happening in there. And really, when shall this trade continue to go on? Because these traders, you realize that they are really going through a lot of challenges. And how best can we also really support these traders is also really another question that we really want to also see how maybe they can be able to also really help themselves out. Because without business, most of the economy, I must say, will also really collapse. Because our economy partly is also really supported by business, and that is why trade is very, very much important in this country. And we also need maybe to support the traders, because other than that, we may also really see our traders bowing out of business. And trust me, once they bow out of business, the economy is also really going to feel the pinch of that. And that is why maybe the developers of this system need to go back to drawing boards. If at all, if it was not maybe something that it was intended, they need to also really go back and draw means, because just like any other system, this may also really be having its own negative challenges. And that is why they need to go back to drawing board and look into some of the challenges as to why the traders could be complaining, because the traders' complaints are basically the issues of overtaxation, first of all, and then secondly, challenges of digital literacy, because some of the traders with whom we interacted have also really raised that challenge of the digital, the challenge of the digital literacy in relation to the IFRI system, where they say also for them to also really file their taxes, their returns, and also really pay their taxes is quite difficult for them, and that is why they are finding it challenging, and they would rather want also really the other form of maybe how they used to pay their taxes, maybe going to the offices, and also really maybe URA enforcement officers coming to them and receiving these monies. But really, we are moving in a digital way. This is also something that traders also really out there need to also accept, because much as also really we want the other old system, we need to also really move with technology, and that is why it is very, very much important for this people to also really embrace the trade, maybe the system, but really before them actually embracing the system, URA needed to also really first of all train the traders, and this is something URA in a recent interview did say that they did conduct. That is also really the sensitization of the traders on this system. But really, where is the challenge then is the question also really we need to also really ask ourselves out, because the system could be good, but really maybe it would also really first of all address, according to URA, the system would also address the gaps that is in maybe in tax flows, which would also really be resulting in corruption, because here somebody sits at the comfort of their homes, at the comfort of their businesses, only to also really pay their taxes, which is kindly smoothly, and which would also really avoid cases of people extorting money. And really I believe this was something good. But then the challenge now is that URA needs to first of all come out and clearly explain how the system operates, maybe to the traders, and with that they would also really maybe understand. But really for them to also really go on with maybe just implementation of the system just like that without the sensitization of the traders, I must say this may also really not yield very, very much. But I want to say URA needs to come back clearly with the government, let them come maybe also explain to these traders why they need to also really embrace the digital system, and that is why they need to also really make people understand the duty of paying taxes is the responsibility, and that is why it is very, very much important for us all to also really unite and also really call off the strike. And that is why we may also really keep you updated on the ongoing maybe the saga also really maybe affecting the traders in there. And Mr. Juma Smukwaya, a government seller, described the delay that's response by the government to also listen to their plight, and that is something also we did see maybe the traders also really echoing out their voices on. And meanwhile, Mr. Fad Mugabe, an 18-year-old orphan who takes care of his 4 siblings and works as a broker, say the strike is a blow to menial laborers who work hand to mouth, and that is also really how they are also raising their challenges. And they say now work is becoming difficult for them, because for them who have been working as brokers, carrying the luggage here and there, now there's no work because the shops are closed, and that is why they are finding it very, very much difficult. And I must remind you that this ongoing strike is having negative repercussions across the country, because we have so many people who are working as brokers across the country, both directly and indirectly. What about maybe the factories which have also been producing maybe these different goods? Definitely I must remind you they're also really going to feel the pinch of the ongoing trade strike by the traders, and really that is something also we want to understand, and we want to let you know maybe of what you think about the ongoing trade, maybe strike by the traders. Share your comment on our various maybe comment sections, and we shall be able to solely read and let you know, and that we may also cherish and share your ideas with the leaders. And that is why the country also needs to listen to the voices of everybody and what are the leaders in there saying. And really, if you really look at what the leaders are saying, Mr. Farouk Mbia, the vice chairperson that's of Mukono Traders Association, said once a mistake is done in filing taxes on IFRIS, the trader is fined, that is 6 million Ugandan shillings, and that is why they are really also really raising their concern, and this maybe money is also really too much for them. And the Muta chairperson, that's Mr. Vincent Lukwago, urged traders to sustain the strike even if it lasts for a month, and because we pay a number of taxes, because this is what we are using to bring food on our table, and really this is where also government needs to listen to the plight of these traders. And Mr. John Kabanda, the president of the Federation of Uganda Traders Association, said they would also really only open the shops after meeting, that is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, as earlier on promised, and that is also really something we want to see maybe tomorrow, if they will be able to also really push their grievances aside. And Mr. Godfrey Katongole, the chairperson of Kampala Arcade Association, appreciated the landlords and traders for the civil disobedience, and really that's also really something we did see happening that is in Kampala City and Masaka. But really what could be happening elsewhere, I also must remind you, in Mubende, wholesale traders also really, maybe on those shops have also continued to remain closed. And Mr. Robert Senyonga, a trader, said he paid that's more than 3 million taxes since the start of the year, and wondered what tax bill he is really supposed to pay. And that is why people also really need to understand why how much they need to pay, because with the system may determine maybe how much you're supposed to pay, not minding of other losses maybe in the business, because you may also really put a lot of monies in paying taxes. What about the other needs? And that is also really why it is very, very much important for maybe these agencies to understand why there's need for that. And that is why we also need to understand what exactly is happening. And in Wakiso Business District, the townships of Nansana, Kayunga, Kakiri, and Namutumba operated normally without these strikes going on, and really that is where we also really want to put the discussions in relation to the strikes aside. And maybe you as a viewer can also really share your opinions, your ideas, and really your comments on what you think through the various comment generating feedback platforms. For those of you watching us via Facebook, feel free to drop in your comments there. Maybe first of all starting with your name and where you're watching us from and what you think about the issue about the ongoing strike by the traders in Kampala and across the country, and really how this is likely to affect, that is also really the whole country, because without business, definitely our economy may not also really maybe sustainably also really go on. And because really we are looking forward to the end of the financial year, could it be maybe there's pressure maybe from also really the government in terms of also really as we are approaching the next financial year? You also really as a viewer can feel free to drop your comment in there, but really putting that aside, let's now moving to the ongoing, that is also the operations that is in the hunt against thieves in Arua City. And now rights activists are also condemning that. They are saying much as these thieves are doing wrong things, still also to listen to their plight is their human right, and that is also really people need to avoid the tendencies of, first of all, torture, and then secondly also really killing these thieves, because it is really against their rights, because there is right, that is freedom from torture, and we also really have a freedom that is freedom from also really murder. That is why the Constitution also really and other human rights laws have also really said nobody has a right to kill take the life of the other, except it is in the course of law. And that is why people also need to desist from tendencies of taking the laws into their hands, because what we are seeing today in the aftermath of mob action is really very, very much devastating. Because yesterday we were at least able to see when Uganda Police Flying Squad was able to also really rescue one of the suspected criminals who was at the verge of being lynched by the angry mob, and really the beating was really too much on the road. And this is something I must say was very, very much dangerous. What if maybe these cars that also really what we see like happen in Kampala also really happened to these thieves and knock you? These are things that people are not minding of as they are going on with these operations. But really, let's first listen to what the human rights activists are saying as we continue with the morning show of the Kokoliriko Live on Western Television. My name is FARISH Majid. Stay tuned. As operations against thieves in Arua City continues, human rights activists are warning members of the public, most especially those involved in the exercise, against the violations of the rights of the suspected criminals. This follows the recent rise in spate of criminality within the city center, where the thieves target people with phones, handbags, which has forced the members of the community to join hands to eradicate the vice out of the areas within the central business district. The rights activists are warning against mob action, murder, torture, and other forms of human rights violations during the ongoing operations as they call for a fair trial. Okurut Bosco, the regional manager working with Uganda Human Rights Commission, observes that the rights of the suspects are being violated during the ongoing operations, as he urges the members of the public to use the right channels while handling the suspects.
You realize that for the general public to go on their own, mobilize themselves, and then they go and do operations without the police, and then in the process of arresting the perpetrators, the suspected criminals, they go on beating them, they go on burning their properties. That is illegal. It is not good. It's not allowed in the laws. I would advise that if the members of the public like to join the police in this operation, help the police, support the police in this operation, that would be okay. Do it alongside the police so that people's rights are not violated, people's properties are not banned, people are not beaten in the process of the arrest.
Recently, Right Reverend Sabino Chano Doki, the Bishop of Arua Catholic Diocese, during a visit by media team at his house in Ediofe, raised concern over the increasing cases of mob action within the city center, which has also left scores dead and others injured.
So I want to appeal to people. We have law in this country. If you find somebody in the wrong, let the law take its course. Mob justice is really condemned. And people are, even if you find somebody has stolen something, you should allow that person be taken and prosecuted by court, not by you.
However, Moses Oringi, who works as a programs manager with West Nile Regional Civil Society Network, an organization working to protect the rights of the citizens, condemns the violations of the rights of the suspects, which he says is unacceptable.
We have regulations that have been put in place, like the Constitution of the 1995, Article, I think, 22, which clearly talks about the right to life. So, whereas these issues of mob justice is being it's on a high increase within the city, I think it is not proper for people to engage in this issue. It is not just against the law, but it's also a sin, and morally it is not okay.
Similarly, Inspector of Police Matua Alfredo Tokira, the police community liaison officer for Central Division, warns community members of violating the rights of the suspects during the operations.
These operations, a few of them were characterized by beatings, where the criminal put resistance towards those who intended to arrest them. That is a violation of right. That is an act of torture which is condemned. Police will identify those who engaged in beating, destroying property, carry out investigations on those incidences, and ensure that persons who engaged in those wrongful acts in the name of supporting police operations are brought to answer for their actions.
In the ongoing operations against the suspected criminals in Arua City by the angry community members, scores have already been killed as a result of mob action, with several others getting injured with their motorcycles set ablaze. FARISH Majid, West Nile TV. Yes, that is it. Human rights activists are saying, much as these people are doing wrong things, we do understand that these people are really giving people a lot of headache. That is in terms of grabbing their phones, in terms of also killing, because sometimes we do understand these thieves also really go on, that is to kill the suspects, maybe in terms of where you feel you cannot really hand over maybe the property that you're having voluntarily to them. That is how they have been also really torturing. That is the public. But now the public has also really become rowdy against them. And really, I must say, this is something that we did see happening. And yesterday, we did see the operations going on. And this means that really some of the thieves have already escaped. For those who have not escaped, they have already been handed over to police. And now they don't want to see these thieves on the streets. And that is that in terms of also the sanity drive. Because really, I must assure you, the numbers of these boys, I did not see any maybe female thief who is maybe a phone snatch on the streets. But maybe they could be there, but I've never seen any female. But these are young boys, more so from Central Business District. And now police is saying that they are ready to work with these people, but these people need to work. That's also in relation to respect of that's of human rights, because much as these people also really are being caught and apprehended, they still have a right that is to also release several issues. For instance, they have a right that is freedom from torture. Really, these people who are beating these people, maybe also want to remind you the law may also really catch up with you, because if you are spotted in that video, maybe a police also really other law enforcement agencies may say you are also really maybe beating badly, because we have at least seen videos also circulating on social media and various other platforms also really of how maybe these people have been mistortured. That is also really in relation to the ongoing operations by the members of the public. But how best can we ensure that really we protect also really and respect the rights of these criminals? Because much as they are doing wrong things, because we also really do not condone maybe criminality, because criminality is against our laws. Definitely we must also really condone it. We must, in the strongest terms, also really we must also really maybe shun it, because it is something that really is against our laws. But really to also really maybe respect the rights of these criminals to because human rights also really do not permit that is torture. Or secondly, they do not also really maybe also promote that is murder of how we have seen it happening in Central Division. And really, I also want to call upon now each and everybody to also resist from tendencies of also taking the laws into their hands, because the law may also turn against you, and that may be very, very much bad for you in there. But really, I want to call upon each and everybody to desist from tendencies of also taking the laws into their hands. You can share your ideas, your opinions on what you think by what the rights activists are saying. People need to respect the rights and also really protect the people, maybe the suspects, from violating their rights, because for you to beat those thieves is really a violation of their rights, because you're not permitted to do so. There's freedom from torture, which is also really a law, much as we have freedom to own property, because the owners of these people also, maybe the owners of these goods that these people have been targeting, also really have a right also really to own property. And that is why court also needs to take its course, because really you did hear clearly from those people. But you can also share your opinions and ideas on what you think exactly needs to be done. That is on the ongoing operations by the members of public in relation to also really cleaning up the city, where we have seen the young boys, also the borders are led by also some of the ASC1 chairpersons in some of these areas that have been labeled also really as black spots, championing also this drive to also really bring sanity. And yesterday we did see videos of these thieves also warning, and they did say they are going to revenge. But how are they going to revenge against the world? Because really I must remind them also their numbers are very few, because the numbers of these thieves that we did see their videos circulating on social media are very few, and these are young boys really. For us to also really maybe arrest these boys will be very, very good, because police needs to arrest these people really, and also really maybe take them to courts of law, and that would also really maybe at the end of the day also bring down the cases of also really the insecurity that we're talking about in the Central Business District down. Because really today for us to work together, because really there's a call now for us to work together as stakeholders in terms of also really ensuring that these people's rights are respected, and secondly also really maybe we bring down the criminality. And really so many people have also really been mentioned. For instance, we have the Uganda police, which is actually there to arrest and make arrests, and then we have the judiciary, which is actually there to take these people to court, and then we have the media also to talk about also issues also really affecting society, because media is a stakeholder, and other initiatives really. We also have several other instances in place. You got the Human Rights Commission is a stakeholder in terms of also really protecting the violations of these rights, maybe of these people. I don't know what you think about as a viewer. You can also really drop your comments in there. We can see a number of comments coming through, and we shall be able to go through them later on. But for now, let's first continue with the discussions, and really you also really can still share your opinions and ideas on what you think is happening, maybe how maybe this will be able to affect, because these people also, we did see them running away, but these people are beating them. These are non-people. Won't they also really come back and harm these people who are mistreating them? That is also really the question that we are asking them. And those who have been aiding maybe this criminality also really needed to be brought back on book. And that is where maybe also we need to understand who have exactly been buying these things. And that is where the issues of these people who have been calling themselves the commissionaries, you are all thieves. And that is also really a warning to them, because in Arua City there are people who have also been calling themselves as commissionaries. These are the brokers who would not work but really want to just operate and sell things that they obtained from this, maybe these thieves. And also want to remind you that you are all thieves, and that is why the laws also need to also investigate and find out who exactly you are and where exactly you take these things. And rumors also really shows that most of these thieves, as of yesterday, escaped. And really, are they going to escape forever? We want sanity in the rural city. We want a clean and safe city for all, where we can freely move with our funds, where we can also really attract investors, because we want to attract investors. And really coupled with the issues of insecurity, we may also really not realize that dream, if at all what is going on continues to go on. And that would also really not be very, very right for us to continue to witness as people of this city. And that is one thing also I want to remind you of, maybe happening elsewhere in there. But you can drop your comments still, and really we can be able to share with the rest of viewers. Moving on, in Uruku Primary School, the pupils are risking to miss, that is sitting for primary living examinations. And really this is after most of the pupils failed. But how can majority of the pupils fail? That is the question also really we are asking ourselves this early morning. And in Uruku Primary School, that's in Amei sub-parish in Paida sub-county in Zombo district, which is a government-aided school that is also 6 kilometers away from Paida town council in Zombo district. Parents are expressing dissatisfaction over the non-existence of primary 7 candidates registered for this year's primary living examination, even though the school had candidates who sat for the PL in 2023. And according to information that we are receiving from there, this is after a number of the primary 6 candidates who are supposed to be in primary 7 this year failed. And in an interview with that is Stephen Ochungi, chairman, that is school management committee, that is who is of the school, confirmed that the school does not have primary 7 candidates for this year's primary living examinations. And Ochungi attributes the challenge to failure of primary 6 pupils who did not qualify to be promoted, that is to the primary 7 for this year, and that is why they were not able to be registered. But really, for our school to fail all, who exactly is to blame? That is the question also really I want to now echo out and also extend to you as the viewer. And really for everybody to fail where there's no promotion, definitely that should be maybe a gap somewhere. There should be a gap. Definitely there should be a gap, first of all, maybe from the parents, secondly from the students themselves, and then thirdly from the teachers and other stakeholders, because usually we are told that maybe how people perform is like a seesaw, where there's the child also, first of all the learner is on top, then the parent, and then the schools, where the teachers also come in place, and meaning these three did not play their rights very, very well. And that is why also we need to understand what exactly is happening from that side, and maybe that could also maybe help us paint an image of why these people may not be able to sit for the primary living examinations come this year. Okay, moving on, really, if we can't be able to play for that video later on, but really, according to Ochungi, a challenge of the primary 6 candidates who did not qualify to be promoted for, that is for P7 to be registered, is actually affecting their registration. And really, according to Ochungi, only the school has only 10 candidates who cannot be registered in accordance, that is with the Ministry of Education and Sports guidelines. But really, why don't we ensure that maybe we register these schools with some of the schools that are maybe within this, maybe the surrounding area, as we continue teaching them from the school? That is also really maybe my humble advice that could be going maybe to this, maybe the stakeholders, but for a school, maybe a government-aided school, also maybe to go on without also really registering. That is quite unfortunate. And Mr. Bernard Opar, a parent, blames Zombo District Education officers for neglecting the school after former head teacher, that is Dennis Oyungi, left the school. And that means that maybe after the head teacher leaving, they did not maybe substantively also really recruit another head teacher who would maybe sit in this position. And in response, Silvio Jalar, Zombo District Inspector of Schools, revealed that the district is working hard so that they can also register the candidates to the nearby schools. And that is exactly how we have been appealing. And then maybe let's first get to listen to what the stakeholders in that district are saying. That is in relation to the challenge this school is facing as far as the registration of the learners for the primary leaving examinations is concerned. Stay tuned. My name is FARISH Majid.
Uruku Primary School in Ames Parish by the sub-county Zombo District is a government-aided primary school 6 kilometers away from Paida Town Council Zombo District. However, parents have expressed dissatisfaction over the non-existence of primary 7 candidates for this year primary leaving examination, though the school had candidates who set for PLE in 2023. In an interview with Stephen Ochungi, Chairman School Management Committee confirmed that the school does not have P7 candidates for this year. Ochungi attributes the challenge to failure of primary 6 pupils who did not qualify to be promoted to primary 7 so that they can be registered. According to Ochungi, the school has only 10 candidates who cannot be registered in accordance to the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Skuru ma eni upe tele menenia wabedo kode oru mukado angesh enki oru ma ene pe tele menenia wabenene le benenia ma kon oru bine berutie mukete pe ma eni waneno nya wenda wiya ma obino ikasa berja bernya kanok maga menda wacho ko men ma ko wenda wiya ma bidika saber ma ko beda para bi doko malo do nyuto nya ga wacho ko men do wiya ma mutie wen ke menena ko do ki class ki do skuru mange kom ko ginyo tu kai kom ka gibedo kai ni inwangonia condition bagamende watanya makobeda para bido ko malo oga muke to tem pega meni eni do nyine oru manyen wache ko yen mania maku klasa beru tie.
Meanwhile, Bernard Opar, a parent, blames Zombo District Education Office for neglecting the school after the former head teacher Dennis Oyonge left the school.
Ya perango ma via class apero perpe kore school mi ruku primary school enke wandi waga mongeng pilemene re na wanwa wadnya wenda via tie asaga ne ke benena via loko belal telemene jade wange yungo ketu parme ni ne game beru te ana ngwa wati ni mako kokuru kada ri adek mogu kada bi ket kokuru be kasom kadi bene gi joining in ko class apusel mako kokuru beru tie.
In response, Silvio Jalar, Zombo District Inspector of School, revealed that the district is working hard so that they can register the candidates to the nearby schools.
We have been having challenges, and the challenge is that the number of learners from P1 going through P2, P3 up to P7 has been reducing. So it has not been easy sometimes for some schools to have that number based on their remoteness. Now coming to Uruku, number one is that Uruku has got no setting center of its own. The examination center it doesn't have, and it sits her candidates at Uruku primary school. And now, because of the population, which is ever reducing, as I've been mentioning, it has been failing. But I think this year it got around 10 candidates that's supposed to register. But it cannot fail to register those candidates because the law for you registering at UNEP states that you must have a minimum of 15 for you to maintain your sitting center.
Uruku Primary School is a government-aided primary school under Church of Uganda Foundation and has only 2 classroom blocks, serving a total of 746 pupils. Alfred Jawok, West Nile TV, Nilecast.
that is it as far as the school is concerned. But really for a school that is government aided, what is happening, maybe the capitation grants that government is giving to this school, because this is a government aided school, and I do understand that this could be a UPE school, but really for a school to go on, that is to fail to register maybe a number of pupils who qualify to sit for primary living examination. That is quite unfortunate. I don't know what you think as a viewer, but really relatedly within the same district, and that is of Zombo district, where over 500 youths, that's from the district of Zombo and Mariokolo, have benefited from the 2 years European Union funded project that is due to prevention, that is a response to teenage pregnancy through the life skills, and that is with that is PAM COPS, the Sustainable Plan and Action for Community Empowerment, that is aimed at contributing, that is inclusive education, decent work, economic growth, and eliminating poverty from the adolescent girls. That is also really the young girls and boys in the districts there, and this is something also we did see happening recently, and really want to see how best can also really these girls and boys in our area also will be empowered. We have seen the Kingdom of Aluru also really championing that. That is through their king, who is actually also really talking about very much about the issue of teenage pregnancy, and also really maybe how that vice can be brought in down there. But maybe as a viewer, how best do you think that we can be bringing the issues of the teenage pregnancy that we are seeing happening today, that is across the country, down? Because really if in West Nile sub-region, the numbers are very much high, and really that is why people need to be empowered. That is why the European Union, that is also really why they have come in place under their 2-year program that is duped, that is prevention response to teenage pregnancy through life skills. And these people have now attained the skills, and that is why we need to also see them maybe use the skills very much well. And that would also really be very good for them to understand why there is need for them to actually understand why they need to also really maybe implement the skills that they have achieved. And we also maybe could be connecting to them. That is a few minutes for now, but really as we head to the evening of the show, we shall be first of all heading for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we shall be connecting that is also to their story there, and maybe have an understanding of what the stakeholders in that area are doing as far as the issue of empowering the teenagers is concerned, because today you realize the teenagers really go through a lot, and that is why we are seeing tendencies of defilement, tendencies of early marriages and early pregnancies also really very much rampant, more so in our rural areas. But how best can we ensure that we eliminate these concerns is also really the challenge I maybe want to pose to you, where you need to feel free to tell us, and really we may also really share this with the rest of the stakeholders, because as media we are stakeholder, and that's in championing also really the challenges happening to society, and definitely we must also really ensure the society is protected, and you as the viewer could help, maybe your voice also really help another person who could be going through the same things, and really your voice, maybe through that comment, may also really very much help in terms of also really maybe addressing the concerns of these people out there. But for now, let's first head for a short commercial breather, and when we return back, we shall be able to pick up with the conversation from there. My name is FARISH Majid. Stay tuned as we bounce back in our second hour of the show.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial breather. We are already into our second hour of the show, and really you're most welcome from wherever you're watching us from this early morning. We welcome you to the show, and this is the show that definitely where you can also be part of and really also share your ideas, share your opinions, and share your comments just by telling us maybe where you're watching us from and what you think about the topics that we have been discussing. And we started the discussions right from the violations of the rights of the thieves, really where the criminals also have a right that is also really that is to protection, and that is why we need to also maybe respect their rights, because human rights not permit what we are seeing happening. First of all, the beating, it is against the rights of these thieves. And then secondly, the issue of the murder. Yesterday we also saw one that was almost lynched, and really so many people have shared their ideas and opinions and what we are discussing, and really why this is happening is because people really feel that these thieves have done enough of injustice to them, and now they're tired because they cannot freely move in their places, and that is why they have resorted to taking the laws into their hands. But really I must remind them to work with police, and that is why the human rights are saying there is need for them to actually respect the rights of these criminals, because if they work with maybe security and other agencies, they would also really respect the rights of these criminals. And really also yesterday we did have maybe a talk show here, and where they also really, our police also really told them that they need to work with them, because sometimes maybe these criminals also have dangerous weapons, for instance guns, which they would also use to harm these people and their targets, and that is why there is need for them to resist from also really tendencies of going for these operations alone, and rather they need to go together with other agencies. And as we are talking about the youth, we also did see in Zombo where the European Union under their 2-year program have empowered and skilled a number of youths, totaling to that is 500 from the districts of Maliokolo and also really Zombo. But really, couldn't the same initiatives also really be extended to what is happening in a rural city, and really could we see the same youths also really be also really incorporated maybe into these projects, really where they would also really be reformed? All these youths are beyond maybe reformation, and that's also really the question we should be asking ourselves right now. And maybe let's first see how the mood was as these youths who got the skills were passed. That would also really be very, very good as we continue with the discussions.
500 youths from Zombo and Madiokolo districts have benefited from the 2-year European Union-funded Project DAP Prevention Response to Teenage Pregnancy through Life Skills, Income and Formal Education Re-Entry Project, implemented by Rice West Nile in partnership with Palm Corps and the Sustainable Plan and Action for Community Empowerment Space, aimed at contributing to the inclusive education, decent work, economic growth, and eliminating poverty for adolescent girls, young women and boys. This was revealed during the European Union delegation representative visit to check on the project areas and activities carried out in the 2 districts of Madiokolo and Zombo, together with the members of the consortium and the chief guest, His Highness Philip Rauni Olarkel Ubimu III, the King of Kelalur Kingdom. Nyakawoti Martha, a student and one of the beneficiaries of the project, thanked the European Union for this project as it has enabled her to go back to school to pursue her education.
I had interest of being in school, but I did not have anything to use in school. That's why I got out of school. But when this project came in, the project helped me a lot. It brought for me arts, school uniform, stockings, school shoes, books, rulers, pens, and so many others. And it made me to have interest in school. This taught me that I have to work hard so that I become what I want to become.
Peace Pia Shell, the Child Protection Officer, Sustainable Plan and Action for Community Empowerment Space, stated that the Prettier project is targeting prevention and response to teenage pregnancies in schools and communities.
We are targeting prevention and also response to teenage pregnancy in schools and the communities. So we are looking at two different sets of adolescents, those in school and those out of school. The ones in school, we are doing a prevention strategy, while those who have already left school, we are doing the skilling, and also those who are able to re-enroll are being encouraged to get back to school. The project beneficiaries, especially the adolescent girls and young women, we have 500 in total. We have 20 girls, and they are coming from each school. Of the 6 schools within the 2 districts, that is Luku, Ezo in Kano. Then we have Zabu and Anyiribu in Madiokolo. Then Ajibu and Amadudu in Madiokolo. Then we have Okeyu and Pakada in Abanga sub-county in Zulu. So the 440 are the out-of-school girls, but we've also added 40 boys onto that number to make the total of 500 beneficiaries.
Pak Sakari, the Executive Director for Rural Initiative for Community Empowerment West Nile and Consortium Lead for the implementation of the Prettier project, stated that this project is targeting children who have dropped out of school due to challenges such as financial difficulties and teenage pregnancies, with the aim of reintegrating them back to school through sensitization of education and skills training.
This project is operated in Maniokolo and in Zongo, the 2 districts, and then also in 6 sub-counties. So what we are doing right now, we are reintegrating children who had dropped out of school, maybe P6, maybe P5, maybe P7, take them back to school after thorough sensitization. And I'm happy to inform that through this project, we're able to make children who had dropped out from school, some have now reached senior. The case in point is we have a representative of such children. Then reintegration, and then those who had totally dropped out and they have no future to go back to school, we enroll them and take them to do vocational skills training. This, the number we now have is 8. That is first cohort. Who have already been registered, who have already been graduated, now we are moving to give them the startup kits. The second cohort, again, we have already registered. So this project is so young. We have just done 1 year. It is 2 years project, but we have just done 1 year. But you will see the overwhelming impact that it has created.
Elizabeth Ongom, the European Union delegation representative, thanked the consortium partners, local government representatives, and the Kelalur Kingdom for their individual roles played in ensuring the young people are given a second chance to pursue their education through this initiative.
I have had many positive things. I have had good stories. I have seen areas which have been good, but overall, I must say it's very favorable. I'm happy, and that is a message I will take back with me, that I have seen so many young faces, many of whom have got a second chance with their education after all the challenges they probably faced as young people. Both here, I've seen this in Negri here, I've also seen it in Madiokolo. And it gives us a sign of, it gives us hope that actually the intervention is on the right track.
His Royal Majesty Philip Olarkel Ubimu III, the King of Kelalur Kingdom, in his address appealed to the parents in the community to protect their children against teenage marriages by empowering them with education and skills training.
I am calling upon parents, and that is again in our pronouncements we made there. Please, parents, in any society, the responsibility starts with you. If you can't protect our children, it is very hard for children to get protection out there. I am very saddened, like he said, most parents, unfortunately, in our community, see their children as a resource avenue. So imagine you're a girl and you've gone through that, and all your parents are thinking, oh, how many cows can I get from the cow print? What does that make you feel as a young girl? It must be devastating. I cannot even bear to imagine. But so let's parents, let's take time to value our children. I call upon something that I feel will do way more good for the girls who have been affected by this, which is skilling. I'm not sure, but these days I don't know if it is now that most young people, I think, then the career they see is on social media, TikTok, and I don't know if we don't have any other skills we can train them with. We could give them media skills. I have no problem with that, but we should look at giving our young girls skilling. I feel that's something that can really help benefit them. Not only it takes them off, helps them occupy their time, but it takes them away from areas where they could be successful or vulnerable to some of these vices that we do not want.
According to the barrier analysis study conducted in the communities of Zombo and Madiokolo district, it was revealed that parental negligence, unregulated night discos, and teenage marriages are the obstacles.
All right, that is it as far as the issue of training these young girls and boys is concerned, and really we want to see an end that is to the teenage pregnancy that we're talking about. And really I want to commend the Aluru Kingdom for championing that. Really I did see the king, that is Philip Raun Olaker III Ubimu, who also really very, very much actively engaged there. And this is what we want to see. And maybe the rest of also the traditional leaders also need to do that, and they also maybe engage in the same practice. And with that, we may also really see maybe these cases being brought down. And really that is what we want to see, because the numbers of teenage pregnancies also really is very, very much alarming. And we are seeing a number of our girls today dropping out of schools because of this issue of early and teenage pregnancy, which is currently on the rise. And the sensitization also really is very, very much important for both the boy child and the girl child, because we may be talking about the girl child. What about the boy child, who is actually the main perpetrator, who is actually there behind convincing these girls for these acts? Because sometimes also really, where we have also already gotten to realize is that some of these girls are also impregnated by their fellow teenagers, and that means also really it is very, very much important for all people to be engaged in these practices, and that is why it is very, very much important for also everybody to be engaged in there. And yesterday there was quite a sad accident, and really which happened on, that is Entebbe Road, and really if I maybe be able to maybe remind you of that, is also really something we cannot exclude, because really we did see that nasty accident happening on the road, where one person was actually said to have also lost his life in that accident. And really it is quite unfortunate, and really where we need to be also really very cautious, because this is something also that was intentional or unintentional. Really, we would see the driver of the vehicle, also the vehicle that failed to brake, and these are the vehicles that use the compressors, as we have been told, the air. And really that is also something we did see happening after the vehicle failed to brake, and as he attempted to wave the vehicle off the road. And really this is where actually he was unable to also really see to that this vehicle also really could fail to land. That is on maybe the victim there, and that is how at the end of the day, after how the man lost his life. And this is something also we did see happening in Kampala there. But really this is quite a shocking and quite a sad one, and really where we did see also going on. And really if I can be able to remind you, in 2023 in the police annual crime report, at least there was a 30% increase in fatal road fatalities registered by police in 2023, with 4,179 lives lost. And this was according to the annual traffic and safety report released on recently. That is also something we did see happening. And the death toll also of road crashes increased by 30%. That is 4,179 in 2023. That is 3,210 in 2022. And Inspector General Police former Inspector General Police Martin Okof-Ochola, at the launch of the report, also really the figure is serious, and also really warned people against these tendencies. But really, how best can we ensure that we protect ourselves on these road crashes? Because each and every day when we come on the show, at least we are talking about an accident happening, and really that is where it is very, very much unfortunate. And that means that we need to also really unite and also see to that we bring down the many cases, but really this is something we did see happening yesterday. But really we pray for the soul of the departed also really to rest in eternal peace. And this is a husband to one of the judicial officers and a magistrate also really in there, and according to information we are receiving. But we pray also God comforts her during this trial moment, because what happened was really out of will, because we saw the driver of that according to the footage we did see released by Uganda police, actually trying to wave off the vehicle off the road, but unfortunately the vehicle was again too heavy and couldn't also really move out of the road, and that is how it ended also really falling on the victim, who actually lost his life to that tragic incident there. And really this is something also we want to say people need to also really protect themselves from, because these vehicles that use air often also really cause a number of accidents, more so these heavy trucks. And that means that these heavy trucks need to use their own roads, and that is why we need to create roads for these heavy trucks for them to also pass on. In some places we have seen this happening, but the implementation has never been there, where we have been told that this road is for heavy trucks, but people, you still see them moving with the small trucks, with the small vehicles. But really this is something I must say is quite unfortunate, and that means that we need to also ensure that we talk about these accidents, because these accidents also claim to continue to claim lives of several people. It may be happening in the country, because each and every day we are talking about an accident, at least on our roads. What exactly needs to be done to also really maybe also really address the challenge there? Because this was a cement mixture, which was also a mixer truck, which actually killed the driver in that incident there. And police have confirmed the driver of the Mitsubishi that was on Wednesday crashed by a cement mixture that was around Nkumba University traffic lights along that is Entebbe Kampala Express, who died on spot. And the traffic police spokesman Michael Kalandura identified the victim as Raphael Okiot, a court advocate and husband to Chenjejo Grade 1 magistrate, that is Miss Faith Irene Kwagala, and she has actually been also really working as a teaching assistant, that is at Uganda Christian University Mukono. And the mixed truck reportedly failed to brake as it approached that is the Nkumba University traffic lights on April of 17th, which was yesterday. And Mr. Kalandura, the traffic police spokesman, said the body of the driver was retrieved, and really the wreckage of the Mitsubishi was also really removed from that place, and this was after 5 hours. And the crash wreckage was removed from off the road after security forces called that's in a crane truck, and both cars were taken to Entebbe main police station, where the body of the deceased was cut out from the Mitsubishi. Also, that's something we did see happening yesterday. And according to eyewitness accounts, the driver of the cement mixer, that is truck number UAN 836D, lost control and rammed into the barriers in the middle of also the road before falling onto, that is the Mitsubishi RVR number UBQ 371P on Wednesday morning, and that is something we did see happening in there. And Mr. Najud Huzaifa, a councillor at Nkumba, his word said the driver of the cement truck moved out of the car and probably went, that is, to a medical facility for treatment. But also the road has become, that's the road trap. The accident occurred at 8 a.m. and this is just a few days, I must remind you, after the students also really from, that is, Buganda Royal University also really dying in there, where we are told about 4 of them out of the 6 also really lost their life in that accident there. But what exactly is happening on this road, which is really becoming a road trap, is also really another question that people need to ask themselves, because if at all we're talking about this, then definitely what needs to be done is the question that so people need to ask themselves, because we're talking about these accidents that continue to happen each and every morning, but really without also really finding solutions to them. That means government also really maybe first of all come back with operations on these roads, so that these vehicles that are on the roads are also checked, and maybe the competence of these drivers also assessed, so that maybe we also reduce the tendencies of these accidents. And Mr. John Chizimbazi, the managing director, that's of Rock Zone Hotel, about 20 meters from the crash scene, said area where the accident happened has become a black spot also really to these maybe travelers and people who are also really moving on these vehicles, and that is why they also really need to also really talk about these issues. And really we may also really keep you updated on that later on. And let's continue moving on with the show, as we are remaining with a very few hours, also a few minutes to the wind up with the show, that is for the Thursday edition, and some of the stories that we are seeing on the past this morning. Let's move into Moyo, where Moyo Town Clerk has also warned residents within the town council against illegal burials within the town council, as some members of the public have started, that is, also really burying their loved ones within the areas of residence without the knowledge of town council authorities. And Moyo Town Council Town Clerk has warned the residents against burials, which also really, where they face also facing the risk, or where they risk also facing the wrath of the law, and that is where they need to also comply with the issued guidelines in terms of also really undertaking these burials, and that is why it is very, very much important. And remember, for people to maybe bury their loved ones, they need need to abide by certain maybe conditions and criteria that need to be in place. Other than that, we may also really see people burying. And really, we are talking about the physical planning, which also really is in place, and where people need to, first of all, to carry out any development, they need to also, first of all, respect that is the issued guidelines in place. Other than that, we may also really see people also really going on, carrying out their various activities without also necessarily maybe abiding by the issues of physical planning, because which is very, very much paramount for any sustainable development. And that is why this issue about also really people abiding by their barriers also need to be maybe emphasized. And that is why we need to also connect to Moyo and see what exactly is happening as far as the issue of the barriers is concerned, because the cemeteries may be within town, because at least we have seen cemeteries within city centers, but also these have been able to abide by the issued physical planning maybe initiatives that are in place. And that is why people need to also really, first of all, seek guidance maybe from the relevant authorities once they are also really maybe to gazette other areas as cemeteries for burying their loved ones. That would be very, very much important, because sometimes a burial also comes as something as sudden and also really unexpected. But really, people first of all need to also really plan for their burials, because before I die, I need to first of all plan maybe where I will be buried. And that is why also really people need to also really abide by these issues, where they are also really going to be burying their loved ones. They need to mind of maybe where, if at all death also befalls, where they're going to be burying their loved ones. And that is why the issue of physical planning is very, very much important. But for now, let's first connect to Moyo and see what exactly is happening in that area.
According to the information circulating within the town council, some members of the public within the town council have started burying their loved ones within their residence without the knowledge of the town council authorities, yet the town council has gazetted a specific place for burial. Mrs. Chota Vivian, the senior town clerk, Moyo Town Council, said she is disappointed to have learnt that some members of the public within the town council have started carrying out illegal burial in their residence, which contravenes the guidelines of the Public Health Act Caption 281 as amended in 2023, which directs the minister to gazette a specific place for burial in towns and municipalities.
I would like to refer the public to the regulations of burials in Moyo Town Council. Not only Toyo Town Council, but the regulation of burials in town, in urban areas. According to the Public Health Act, 21, Cap 21, as amended in 2023, Section 107, it states that the minister may select and appoint by statutory instrument sufficient and proper places to be sites of and to be used as cemeteries or crematoria for municipalities and towns, and it shall be an offense where such cemeteries or crematoria exist to bury or burn the dead elsewhere within the municipality or the town.
When asked on the possible action that can be taken against those who have gone ahead to bury their loved ones within their residence, the town clerk said all the people who have been allocated land within the town council know the purpose of the land being leased to them, adding that those who go ahead and bury their loved ones within the town council will be forced to exhume the bodies of their loved ones at their own cost.
I would like to inform the public that the plots that are leased to individuals were regulated. When a plot is leased to you, it is clear what the purpose for which it is leased for. And among those activities for you to carry on those plots does not include burials. So those who have buried and have refused to seek for advice or guidance will at time T exhume those bodies at their own costs.
Mr. Ovoyogad, the physical planner, Moyo Town Council, said all the land within the town council have been planned for different purposes ranging from commercial to residential, and therefore urge the residents within these areas to use the land for the already planned purposes.
We have been given plots for residentials or commercial, which are supposed to be developed for those purposes. Now, if a loved one dies, this person is supposed to be buried within the gazetted areas for burial, and those are cemeteries. We have 2 cemeteries in Town Council Moyo, one owned by Town Council itself, and it is meant for the general public, regardless of which religion, which tribe, and all that. And then another one is owned by the Muslim community in the Town Council, which is also gazetted, and they are following that. For the Muslims, actually, realize that they are burying automatically. When they lose anybody, they are burying in their cemetery. But for the Christians, realize that some are buried in Town Council cemetery, but others are burying in the Mission cemetery, which is outside the Town Council.
According to the Public Health Act Caption 281 of Section 107, which states that the minister may select and appoint by statutory instrument sufficient and proper places as sites to be used as cemeteries or cemeteria for municipalities and towns, and it shall be an offence where such cemeteries exist to bury or burn the dead elsewhere within the municipality or town. It's from this background that the authorities of the Town Council have come out clear on the illegal burial within the Town Council and plan to take drastic measures on those who go against the law. I'm Dominic Anthony Okumo for West Nile TV, Nilecast.
Well, that is it as far as the issue of people also really abiding by the laws that are in place, because much as people, it is your land, we still have to abide by the physical planning requirements that are in place, so that also really we attain a sustainable development where we may also not see maybe at one time you relocating also really your loved ones, which may be very, very much unfortunate. But for you to maybe avoid that, you need to abide by the laws in place. And other than that, we may also really see you, first of all, maybe also being forced to move out of that area, move with your loved ones, which may also really be very, very much unfortunate. And that is why, if at all you are trying to maybe gazette a place as a burial ceremony for your, maybe as a burial ground for your loved ones, you need to also first of all seek the required maybe conditions and challenges that would also really be very, very much good for them to also really understand why exactly that could be happening. And really with that, we also really continue with the show, and we shall be able to let you know of what exactly could be happening in there. But as we continue with the show, we are still also really talking about the implementation of the trade order in Arua City, where this morning we are receiving information about the ongoing exercise, where after maybe successfully also sensitizing the locals about also really the trade order, where there is a need for people to also really move into the market. And then secondly, disease from tendencies of maybe street vending, and after failing to abide by the laws, we have seen the implementation of this now. And according to information we are receiving, the exercise is going on within different parts of Arua City, more so areas within the market where a lot of stores are being destroyed and also being impounded this morning. And we shall be able to also really keep you updated of what is happening in there, and also the plight of these traders. And we shall be able to maybe let you know when the right time comes. But for now, we shall be able to maybe let you know that when the right time comes, as we continue with the show. Now let's first connect to Germany, where people in that area have been urged, that is, to join the prison service. And recently, prison service did announce at least a vacancy of more than 1,000, where maybe spots where people also really have been now encouraged to join. That is the prison service, and that is one thing also really I must remind you. And this message was passed during the burial of late Etri Felice Tombe, who has been the principal officer, second, who passed on that of April 11th, 2024 at the Juman General Hospital. And parents in the Juman district have been urged to take their children to join that Uganda Prison Service, and that is something also we did see happening in there, that area. And we want to call upon now people to also take advantage of these people, where maybe these opportunities that the government is bringing in place. And recently we did see announcement and vacancies that is under Uganda Police, and now we are seeing Uganda prisons. Maybe next will be Uganda Post Defense Forces, and we want to see our people also really join. And that is why people, as people of West Nile Sub-region, will take advantage of these initiatives, and that would be very, very good for us to also maybe understand why we need to also really see to it that also really we understand maybe what could be happening in there. That will be very, very good for us also really maybe to take our children also to be part of that, and that will be very good maybe at the end of the day also really for our children to benefit from this exercise. And really I want to call upon each and every family out there to ensure giving their children actually to joining this prison service, and that will be a very, very good one. And I really want to call upon now people to desist maybe from tendencies of not joining these services, and really want to see many people actually joining the exercise in there, and that will be very, very good for them to also really maybe to take care of the people who are in there, and that will be good. And really maybe the services that are in place, these are services, and that is why people need to also really maybe understand why there's need for them to join the service and force, and that will be a very, very good one for them. And really that brings us to another short commercial break, the second one for this hour, as we continue with the show. And when we bounce back, we still have lots more to give you on the show, and this is the Kokoliriko live on West Nile Television. Stay tuned as we bounce back with other topics, and really as usual we summarize the discussions with what is happening in the world of sports. And really, before we get to give you that, I also want to remind you the Eolaza News team is already in the kitchen that is cooking what they are going to be giving you, and that is why you need to also be part of the show, as Mukulia Lawrence together with the rest of the team is also already set and well prepared to give you that in the language that maybe you best know, and that is the Lubarati language. And in the midday, we shall be having the Lembangia, that is with Kachingro Faith, Fancy, sorry, and also really Peace Ochaki there, who will be giving you that. And then later on at 7 p.m., the Nilecast News Bulletin with Okumuringa Christine will also be coming through. But for now, let's first have this short commercial breather as we bounce back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Alright, welcome back from that short commercial breather. This is still the Kokoliriko live on West Nile Television. As we get to the evening of the show, we still have lots more to give you of what could be happening on the papers this morning. But I want to remind you that so many things have been happening. And briefly, if I can maybe briefly also remind you of what could be happening, it will be very, very much good one, maybe such that you also understand what is happening elsewhere in the country. And really now on some of the stories that we're seeing this morning, where we're also talking about a Kampala businessman who has been remanded over defaming Muyenga chairman. Is also really some story that we are seeing on the past this morning, where a 49-year-old Kampala businessman and his wife have been arraigned, that is in court, for allegedly defaming Muyenga LC1 chairperson, that is Yasin Omar Naftali Asimwe, a resident of that is Kanyongo, that is zone in Bukasa Parish, Martin Division, that is in Kampala, and his wife and his 31-year-old wife Judith Asimwe, were on Tuesday produced at Buganda Road Magistrate Court for defaming, for claiming that Mr. Omari was behind the death of their 4-year-old son, and that is something also we did see happening in there. And Naftali was remanded to Luzira prison until that's April 22nd of 2024, when he will return to court for further mention of the case, with his wife being a mother of a 5-year-old baby who was released on court bail with the officiating, that is with 1 million not cash, and the couple was charged alongside, that is Geoffrey Semata, a 28-year-old that is resident of that is Bukasa zone in Machindi, and this is something also we are seeing on the past this morning, and they are being charged with the offence of that is libel, which they denied before the charge of the chief magistrate, that's Mr. Ronald Kaizi, and the prosecution states that the trio and others are still at large on that's August 13th of 2021 in Muyenga, that's Machindi division, with the intent that's to defame Omar and lawfully published all circulated audios and videos that he was behind the death of their son. That is also really. That was also something which was presumed to be intentions of political within their village, and that is something also we did see happening in there. And the audios and videos are said to have been false and have accused hatred, ridicule, contempt, and damage to the reputations of Mr. Omar, and that is why they have been also really charged and arraigned before court there. And court had that the accused persons circulated videos using people not to vote leaders who kill people, and that's something that we did see happening in there. They reportedly say their son died because of the leadership wrangle that is in Kagonyogo zone. That is also really in that area there, and really that is also something we are seeing on the paper this morning. But really, as we continue with the show, I also want to remind you of the ongoing fight that's between Jinja Hospital and Muslims, where they have been ordered to also really leave, that is the contested land, as the investigations the matter continue, and security organs have declared plot 31 Nile Avenue out of bounds, that is Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, and the Muslim administration that is also says the matter is now in court, and the decision was arrived during a meeting chaired by Jinja Resident City Commissioner, that is Darius Nandinda, who said the commission he was acting after consulting the Ministry of Lands, Uganda Lands Commission, and the Office of the Presidency, among other stakeholders on the matter, and that is also really to avoid maybe further bloodshed, and that could be as a result of what is happening in that area. And according to Nadinda, both parties have been given an appointment to meet the Uganda Land Commission and the Ministry of Health officials, among others, that is in Kampala, April 17th of this year and this month. And that's also something we shall be able to keep you updated of and let you know maybe if at all there's any development line to that. And development comes a day after hospital staff demonstrated paralyzing work that momentarily left some patients unattended to, with priority being given to the emergency cases and expectant mothers. And earlier, the Muslim community cleared the land and started constructing a perimeter fence around it and held the Eid prayers last week to reinforce also their hold of the land. And that's something we did see happening in there. And Jinja Regional Referral Hospital Director, that is Alfred Iai, said the strike was triggered, that is by the alleged silence by the top leadership and security of Jinja leadership on the alleged land there. And this regard, that's of the area, Ismail Adi Busoga, also declined to comment on the matter, saying the meeting is scheduled in Kampala will determine the next course of action of what exactly could be maybe happening in that area there. And really, we want to see maybe how this matter will be able to continue. And last month, residents protested against the decision by Uganda Land, that is the Legislative Minister for Lands, and really Sam Mayanja, to allocate the contested land to Muslims, and that decision was actually contested. And also that's where we did see demonstrations by the hospital administration also on the same land also emerging. And Mayanja, during a visit to the contested site last month, decreed that land also really belongs to the Muslims because all the constitutions since 1900 clearly states so. And he further directed that no land board had authority also really to give away the land that belongs to an individual authority like Uganda Muslim Spring Council, and ordered the cancellation of illegal titles on the Muslims land, citing Section 91 of the Commission Land Registration Act. And really that is something also really we did see happening in there. And really now that brings us, as we get to summarize the discussions, and really well, maybe if I can be able to really give you some of the stories that maybe that could be happening in the world of sports, and where we are seeing Cristiano Ronaldo has won a legal battle with Juventus over his wage dispute. And remember, this case was in courts of law, where Juventus was also really trailing the man we are talking about, the Cristiano Ronaldo, whom others call Sierra 7, on the alleged wage battle. Then right now he has won that legal battle, as we now see him as a free man without also really maybe having to go to court and respond to the queries. And that is also something that maybe briefly, if I can be able to give you maybe in relation to that. But in the World of Champions League, where we did see games also taking place last night, and we did see also really Arsenal also really losing it out in the hands of, that is, Bayern Munich, as for a goal that is of Chimik in the 63rd minute, which also really let Arsenal bow out of the competitions. And in other games we also did see Manchester City also being thrown out of the competitions, but that is by Real Madrid after a 1-1 draw, 1-1, which ended after extra time, where we did also see the games heading into penalties. And really I must tell you, Real Madrid was the first to actually take the lead after a goal by Rodrigo there, and Manchester City was actually also really able to respond, that is through a goal, that is through Kevin De Bruyne, and this game ended, that is 1-1, which led also the game to proceed, that is to the extra time. And this is where Manchester City was actually knocked out of the competitions. And tonight we shall be having games also really in the European world, where we shall be also really seeing also other games taking place, where we shall be seeing Fiorentina taking on, that's Victoria Pleasant, whereas Lille will be taking on, that's Aston Villa, Fenerbahce will be taking on, that's Olympiacos, as PAOK will be taking also Club Brugge. And this is the quarterfinals of the Europa Conference League. And I will be able to maybe let you know also what is happening in the Europa League, and that is where we shall be seeing Liverpool tussling it out today with Atlanta after the 3-0 defeat, that is at Anfield there. And Marseille will be taking on Benfica, as Roma will be taking on, Roma will be taking on AC Milan. Meanwhile, that is West Ham United will be taking, that is on Bayern Leverkusen. And all these games will be tonight, and they will be determining maybe which of these teams will be qualifying and moving to the next round of the European games there. And I will be maybe come tomorrow remind you of how these games will be proceeding. And that is what does it for our sports updates on the Kokoliriko Live for today. And my name is FARISH MAJID. Stay tuned for the rest of the program that may follow as we come to a closer of today's discussions. And really we thank you so much for those comments, for those who really dropped their comments on some of the topics that we did discuss. And maybe if I can briefly go through some of the comments, we did have Albertson, who said let them remove the useless taxes that they put. And we also did see him also commenting, how can they make double taxation? One item, my idea is to remove the taxes so that people can also do business. And that's what he also did say there. And he also did go on and say, after misusing the monies given to us, too much taxes is what we are seeing. And really we appreciate you for those comments. And those comments are none of also West Nile Television, and those are the views of the people who have shared them. And really with that we come to a close of the discussions, and we appreciate you for being part of the discussion. Stay tuned for the rest of the program that may follow. And up next is the news bulletin in Lubarati, that is with Mukulia Lawrence. Stay tuned.